Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be teaching you how to make actually I will be teaching you today I'll be showing you um like how I make my data stores and data saving and all that stuff, like data saving, and I'll show you how to how I make it. And yeah, I'll show you like the ways I make it and all that. Basically I'll show you the new way I make data stores. So yeah, anyways, let's start. So if I go to the data saving script, like just I am, first, as I say, I make a notes for variables. The variable services, which is normally the data store service, because you need that to save your data, obviously, and the run service. I'll show you what we need for that later down here. Anyways, and then as this note says, we are getting the date key for the data store, which is that. And the data key is going to be equal to production. And since this variable is a string, when we implement it in here, so if I just delete this data key, as you can see, it says on the first argument in the get data store, it says name, and which is also equal, which is gonna be equal, which is a string. So yeah, and since the data key is equal to a string, then it will be like that. But what this is where run service comes in handy, and we're actually changing the key if in Studio. So basically what this means, we're making an if statement, which means a run service has a function which checks if we're in Studio. So if I just print, so let's just delete that, yeah. Okay, so if I just delete that, and if I am in Studio, then it's just gonna print in Studio. So that's what one service does. One service has a lot more stuff, but this is what one service function does. This is what is Studio function does. So if I just go in the game, as you can see in the output, it says in Studio. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so I'm just gonna delete that now. I'm just gonna so yeah, just like that. And basically, if we are in Studio, then we're gonna set the data key equal to test. And if that comes in handy, because if we just print the change the data store now, it basically what I implemented it in my sword fight game. You should check it out. But I done this mistake in the sword fight game, and I was wondering when I joined the game, why do I still have the same amount in Studio? Then I realized it's only changing it after we create the data store. So yeah, make sure you just do it before you create the data store. Okay, as I'm gonna place it back, and we're just creating the data store with this one. Nothing really special about that. Creating the data store with the data key, and since we are in Studio, then it's changed. But if we're in the Roblox, the platform Roblox, then it's going to be equal to production. So yeah, anyways, this function, we're creating a function called data. Normally you can just do game.plays.play. I did, but I don't really like doing that for some reason. But yeah, and I created it to data. And what this does is it basically we call it to create the lead stats and also save the data if it is success. But no, we just create the lead stats. But yeah, And what this means, if you don't really know, is if the player joins a game, it will just print the player's name, and then we're just going to do colon, and then has joined the game, and then we're just going to do full stop, and then we're going to welcome colon, which is the player dot name. Anyways, and now we're creating what this means is we're creating a folder which is going to be parented to the player. So if I play the game, okay, I'll go to client this. If I go to the players, it will immediately create a a immediately create a folder immediately create a folder called leader stats. Okay, what am I saying? Anyways, it immediately create a folder inside the player, leader stats. Okay, called leader stats, and we okay, and then when we go into this, these two means are creating a number value, and it will parent it to the leader stats by writing comma and then leader stats. So it is parented to the leader stats. As it says optional, it won't. I just leave it. And then this is the same thing, but just different name and all that stuff. Okay. And yes, okay. And what this means is we're just doing um we're just getting the player ID, and we're gonna set it equal to a string, and we're also gonna concatenate it. Concatenating is just doing like two dots and then a string, or two dots and play and a name or whatever. Yeah, I'll just make a course on to concatenating, but yeah. Anyways, and what this means, if you don't really know, I don't actually really have to explain it, but it just prints up this entire line of code. So yeah, and then we'll just create a variable that is equal to nil. So basically, it's equal to nothing if you just make it like that. But yeah, and now we're just creating a function that like pcos that protects, like goes over and over. It like, so basically when you're doing data stores, yeah, um when you're doing data stores, like it basically like if like the player's internet is bad and we save the data, it won't work. Like, then the data store won't work. So that's where pcol comes in. And if it doesn't, the saving doesn't work, it goes back over again and back over again, back over again until it works. So yeah, and then in this line code, we're setting the variable data equal to the data store, so that data store, and then there's a function called get async. So we're getting a sync to the key, which is the player ID, and then we're checking with an if statement. If it is success, then we're just gonna print can successfully save players this string of line. Then we're just gonna print the string of line, which basically means we're gonna print can successfully save the player's name and then data. So yeah. So yeah, and then we're also gonna run some function things, and then we're gonna set Burgess value equal to the data dot Burgess. Then we're gonna set the cache dot value equal to data dot cache. Sorry if I can't really explain this, but sorry. And then we're just gonna make an else statement if it is not successful. So what this means, it means not success. So yeah, that's what it basically means. And then we're gonna else, and then we're just gonna make an error. We're gonna print an error and with the error message, which is gonna be in red. So like that. So yeah, just in red. And then now we're gonna create a new function um, that saves the lead set. So then same as this. So if I didn't explain that, but basically we make this variable player, and then colon is setting it to the a type, which is going to be the player. So same as that, the type player is, and the type is equal to player. And then we're gonna same as we done with the print this, but this is the joining one, this is the leaving one, and we're just gonna print instead of join the server, which has left the game, and then we're gonna do full stop, and instead of doing welcome, we're gonna do goodbye. And the same for player ID, same for that. We're just gonna copy and paste that, and then data, local data is actually equal to a table, which is buggies, and this is buggies and cash. So yeah, and then same way to do is that is we're going over and over and over again to see, and then we're gonna over and over again until we're gonna set the data store, and then we're gonna do set async to the key, which is the player's ID, and then we're gonna set it to the value, which is the data, and then for this function, this is basically getting when the player joins, we're gonna connect it to the function called data, and when the player gets leaves the server, then we're gonna connect it to the function called save data. So what I mean by this is, if I play the game, okay, and if I go to play and I go to my leader sets and I go to my cache, I'm gonna make it around 2000, whatever that is, and I'll leave the game. So let me leave the game. What this does, now it saves the data, hopefully. As you can see, it saves the data. But yeah, and that is the end of this video. Peace.